V for Vendetta is a movie that's found itself very high on lots of movie buffs' top lists. It's been 10 years since its release, but the comic book adaptation is still as relevant as ever, so it's indeed very much an all-time classic. The movie is set in a dystopian future, where the oppressive government decides everything for its citizens. That is, until a vigilante called V decides to take matters into his own hands and fight the powers that be. He does need some help, though, and Natalie Portman's character is eager to lend a hand. Besides a truly cool plot, this film is filled with political matters and ethical questions.
You know, I don't want to tell people how to think. I mean, I'm interested in asking the questions, and I'm just interested in them giving the answers, if you like, or no answers. You know, whatever they want to get out of it.
All of the ways that we categorize violence are really questioned in the movie. I mean, there's ways we think about some violence being good violence and some violence being bad violence, and some being legitimate and some being illegitimate and justifiable and unjustifiable. And I mean, the difference between an individual versus state violence, or suicide violence versus someone being willing to die for their country. I mean, what are the differences between these things?
The character of V is portrayed by Hugo Weaving. He's a highly skilled fighting machine who always hides behind his mask. This, of course, adds a lot to the mystery surrounding him, but it does make it hard for the director to show us V's emotions. To resolve that, they decided to use different lighting to emphasize his moods.
I was always about trying to get the emotional content out of the mask, if you like, and we made a decision early on with Hugo is to get the emotional performance, never treat it like a static object. So, you know, he and Natalie had a really good relationship, and I think it helped it come alive. You know, I think Hugo does an amazing job of, making you feel the humanity behind the mask.
A memorable scene in the film is the one where Natalie Portman's head gets shaved. In the sequence, her character is in tears. In reality, though, well, she's a good actress.
It really wasn't a big deal for me. I mean, it seems to be for everyone else because everyone keeps asking about it, but it was really fun for me. And obviously the scene is pretty dramatic, so I had to really get away all my excitement, happiness for having a shaved head and try and make it as dramatic as it is in the story.
V for Vendetta is a movie that just never gets old. And while we could go on about it for hours, sadly the show has come to an end. No worries though, as there'll be a lot more cool stuff in the next episode.